You must know that, in my eyes, you are two spies sent to reconnoiter me and my movements. Naturally, I capture you and I shoot you. You pretended to be fishing, the better to disguise your real errand. You have fallen into my hands and must take the consequences. Such is war. But, as you came here through the outposts, you must have a password for your return. Tell me that password, and I will let you go.
The two friends, pale as death, stood silently side by side, a slight fluttering of the hands alone betraying their emotion.
No one will ever know,
continued the officer.
You will return peacefully to your homes, and the secret will disappear with you. If you refuse, it means death. Instant death. Choose.
They stood motionless and did not open their lips. The Prussian, perfectly calm, went on, with hand outstretched toward the river.
Just think that in 5 minutes you will be at the bottom of that water. In 5 minutes. You have relations, I presume?
Mont Valérien still thundered. The two fishermen remained silent. The German turned and gave an order in his own language. Then he moved his chair a little way off, that he might not be so near the prisoners, and a dozen men stepped forward, rifle in hand, and took up a position 20 paces off.
I give you 1 minute,
said the officer.
Not a second longer.
Then he rose quickly, went over to the two Frenchmen, took Morisot by the arm, led him a short distance off, and said in a low voice,
Quick, the password. Your friend will know nothing. I will pretend to relent.
Morisot answered not a word. Then the Prussian took Monsieur Sauvage aside in like manner, and made him the same proposal. Monsieur Sauvage made no reply. Again they stood side by side. The officer issued his orders. The soldiers raised their rifles. Then, by chance, Morisot's eyes fell on the bag full of gudgeon lying in the grass a few feet from him. A ray of sunlight made the still quivering fish glisten like silver, and Morisot's heart sank. Despite his efforts at self-control, his eyes filled with tears.
Goodbye, Monsieur Sauvage,
he faltered.
Goodbye, Monsieur Morisot,
replied Sauvage. They shook hands, trembling from head to foot with a dread beyond their mastery. The officer cried,
Fire!
The 12 shots were as one. Monsieur Sauvage fell forward instantaneously. Morisot, being the taller, swayed slightly and fell across his friend with face turned skyward and blood oozing from a rent in the breast of his coat. The German issued fresh orders. His men dispersed and presently returned with ropes and large stones, which they attached to the feet of the two friends. Then they carried them to the river bank. Mont Valérien, its summit now enshrouded in smoke, still continued to thunder. 2 soldiers took Morisot by the head and the feet. 2 others did the same with Sauvage. The bodies, swung lustily by strong hands, were cast to a distance and, describing a curve, fell feet foremost into the stream. The water splashed high, foamed, eddied, then grew calm. Tiny waves lapped the shore. A few streaks of blood flecked the surface of the river. The officer, calm throughout, remarked with grim humor,
It's the fish's turn now.
Then he retraced his way to the house. Suddenly, he caught sight of the net full of gudgeons, lying forgotten in the grass. He picked it up, examined it, smiled, and called,